Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thanks for being here. Caught me right in the middle of adjusting my screen. Sometimes the laptop's facing down too. Sometimes it's not at the right angle, but I hope it is right now. I hope everyone's doing well. I am a little late to the party here, I know, with my heart to heart. It's usually Monday, Tuesday. What is today? Thursday? Oh my gosh, I just could not get into it, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't actually sometimes your mood stays the same for a while and you don't really want to bring a downer or not even a downer, guys. It's like almost empathetic in some ways, or not empathetic, apathetic. There you go. It's almost school teacher that you are. Apathetic. Sometimes I'm like numb. So I just haven't been able to come up with a honed down subject matter for tonight, but I think I have one today. And so I hope you're joining me for that, for a heart to heart, where we just talk about kind of the stream of consciousness of what's on my mind, because I usually bring out the topic. But you're welcome to give me your thoughts and critique and whatnot in the comments. Just don't get religious or political with me, because we got plenty of that going on the other channels and on mainstream media, right? So if that's your thing, by all means, go get your fix over there, but that's not what we're about here. We're really just about what's on our minds for today. So what is on my mind for today is to say hello first to all of you guys who popped in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Be sure and hit the thumbs up. Normally we talk a lot about jewelry here on this channel, but this is one night of the week that I like to just come and talk to you straight face to face, so to speak, about what's on our minds and what we're pondering these days, which is a lot, I'm sure. All right, let me see. We have Miss Deborah. How are you? Christine Guerrero's here. Soho, California Vintage. Oh, I love that name. That is such a cool name. And Tony Dodge and Lori. How are you, Miss Lori? Hope you're doing well. Debbie Claudio's here, as well as Nora and Robin. All right, guys. So I woke up in a crazy mood today. What was I doing? I think someone woke me up to some craziness going on my Facebook page. Someone had posted tarot card reading or something on the page. So I was alerted to that and quickly took it off and took care of what I needed to do there. I was telling my daughter about it. She's like, oh, how cool. Well, not if that's not the kind of page it is, right? So we took that off. But meanwhile, while I was on Facebook, you know how Facebook, it's the feed is kind of what's going on with your family. Of course, there's a tragic incident with a friend of mine from a school that I used to work with. We won't get into that because, oh my gosh, that is some heavy stuff going on with what she posted, but prayers to her and her family. And, but then someone posted from this food group that I follow. I follow this food group, right? And he or she posted, they do videos on, and the girl has a video channel, cooking channel here on YouTube, but she has this Facebook page where other people just share their recipes, share their beautiful dishes, and even videos that other people are doing on TikTok and whatnot. Well, anyway, somebody put on this music video of this genre of music, Tejano music, which is a kind of a genre with a mixture of Mexican-American, Mexican music, Spanish. It's a genre all its own, Tejano music. So I started listening to that. And well, I clicked it. It was like some kind of VMA award for this artist. And I got so into it. And then, of course, it feeds you into something else. Well, then I started watching these entire videos on this old classic cinema, Mexican cinema, where people would dress, in their, what they call the charro or mariachi outfits. And I was so in love with all the jewelry. I always have been. And I think I've even asked Ms. Zombie if she ever runs into those big old hoops, especially the ones that have like little dangles coming down even more after the hoop. I don't know if you've seen them, but you can find them on eBay, fairly expensive. And I think they even have some like that are 14 karat. They're like in the $500 range. Well worth it. I think they're beautiful. But anyway, I got into that just listening to music. So somebody said, I listen to this music while I'm cleaning. And so I thought, that's what a lot of people do. They put on their favorite music to get themselves motivated and whatnot. Well, I was motivated to basically just keep looking at beautiful videos with these types of singers and the movies and, just your typical I don't know, what is it? Boy loves girl, boy loses girl, kind of story behind that, but always with wonderful music. So that was a lot of fun to watch today while I was working and doing other things and just listening to it. And then I thought, what am I going to wear to my video tonight? I'm going to wear this beautiful blouse that takes me to another world. This blouse, the lady that I bought it from at a garage sale for like $1, and I adore it. I don't know what the brand is, but she said, oh, I wore this. And she showed me the picture. She wore it to when she went to the top of Machu Picchu over in Peru. So every time I wear this shirt, I'm transferred over there, transported to an exotic place that I've never been to, but I've always wanted to go. And that's kind of what I was going to talk about today too, is lists. Do you guys make lists? Do you still do that proverbial bucket list that a lot of people talked about a few years ago? I never really did that. I don't know. They always seem so lofty to me, but I do a lot of vicarious living through videos, through movies. They transport me to another world. They get me in another mood. And I really think that's been very helpful to me these days. I have not started back at school yet. We don't officially start till next week. We start training, and then the kids don't come back till the following week. And we're not going into the classroom. So basically, I'm still here in this limbo, guys. I feel like, I don't know if I told you guys, but my dad used to have horse races. Race horses, and we'd go to the horse races. They would put, I don't know if you're familiar, but they would harness the horses while they were waiting to race in these little, I guess, I don't even know what they're called because I'm not actually any kind of an expert on that, but they just basically go round and round and round and round, like, one following the other, just like a little wheel, just going around. It's kind of the way I feel these days. Like I'm one of those horses just waiting for my turn to go up to the gate and get something done. Of course, I'm doing a lot here. I know that, as you are as well, but it's just been so crazy. So I do find that things that change my mood, whether it's putting on this blouse that some lady that I don't even know, but she showed me the picture. She looked great in it. She also sold me a beautiful mustard colored blazer. I think I wore it in the outfit of the day. And, I just love that. I love that clothing and jewelry and movies can actually change a little bit about your attitude for the day, at least, and get you through some hard times. I know it doesn't get you through really hard times or tragedies or whatnot, drown ourselves in our sorrows and just wallow. I feel like I'm constantly just trying to out of these moods. And again, with the Facebook, every time, I don't even know why I keep going on there, but I don't do anything political or anything on there. I just want, follow the ladies that do the cooking. I follow my family. There's always some memory. There was a wonderful memory I posted a couple of days ago of my aunt and my mother in Chicago when they went to my son's wedding 7 years ago. That's one of the aunts that I lost a couple of months ago. So of course I had to post it and just made a little caption about wonderful times and good times shared, and how she had made that trek all the way to Chicago to be with my son and how touching that was. And then of course all my aunts and cousins commented in as well. But I think we kind of just give ourselves a little virtual hug that way. I honestly do. I don't think, it really, to me anyway, it's like a virtual hug. Like everyone's just kind of understanding what you're going through and sharing in that one moment while we still, have to shuffle our way through this life. Let me see again who popped in here and what your thoughts are. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. You were having a very bad day. You put on music and started feeling much better. Good, Miss Laurie. I'm so glad to hear that. I hope you're doing better health-wise and dealing with your pain and all of that. I know that they had said you had some migraines and all of that, so I'm praying for you, darling. Cindy, how are you, Miss Cindy and Mary? Oh, I got that hug, Miss Mary. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's what we do. Honestly, I think that's the good thing about Facebook. Say what you will about it. It's got its problems. We know that. And, fake news being one of them and people using it for ill and all of that. But gosh, it really does connect us as friends and family. It really does. It's just a gem. And even today, just FaceTiming my grandson who actually lives here, and I'll pick him up tomorrow for a little while. But, he felt like talking to me. They FaceTime me or here on Messenger or whatever. And it's just a great great thing to have, and to be able to see each other, tell each other what's on your mind for a second, you know, instead of just keeping it to yourself. Yeah, the YouTube videos, absolutely. And the inspiration that you can get from them, because, a lot of these people that I follow for the cooking videos, they've got a big following. Some of them are just starting, but they all have their own personality. I follow them because I like what they're talking about. They they may not be everybody's cup of tea. They certainly aren't. Absolutely. They serve either because of the type of food they serve, or they happen to curse a little bit more than the other person's used to. And you may want to turn it off, but to me, that's what makes it interesting and endearing. If I wanted to just sit there and watch, Julia Child style videos that are highly edited and absolute perfection, and even she had to she cut her finger one time on camera. I think that made her even more popular. But all of that it really is wonderful. It serves us in so many ways. Or watching people discover new jewelry, discover fashion, discover anything, how to do this better, how to do that better, a new language. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to learn certain phrases in Italian and even Polish and German. And I'm fascinated by things like that. I'm fascinated by history. I'm always listening to things on the history or the lectures that I told you about last time on Harvard and Yale and all these top universities that put on history lectures. And lately I've been watching one on art. He's a great guy. He's only got about 3,000 subscribers. I believe his channel is called The Medicine Man, and he runs a gallery, I believe, in Santa Fe. So he interviews wonderful Native American artisans as well as Mexican artisans and contemporary, everyone from jewelry to canvas painting and so forth. And he had a wonderful conversation last night with a gentleman. And then it turns into, what do you think about this that's going on with the political upheaval and all that? And it's so interesting to hear a perspective calmly discussed. And this is probably two people that are on the same page. But that doesn't mean they always have the same opinion about how things should be remedied, right? But they were able to talk about, wouldn't it be a great idea instead, and this is a Native American who said, instead of tearing down something, I think one of the plazas in Santa Fe was defaced, and because it depicted Native Americans in what was perceived as a very negative light. Indeed it was. So the guy says, wouldn't it be a wonderful idea if we commissioned a Native American artist to do a work next to that statue, next to that obelisk, I think he said it was. I'm not sure. It's on the plaza or something. And then kind of as a retort, kind of as an answer, so that instead of spending all this money to rehouse these monuments and statues and put them in museums, which is where they rightly should be, and instead of being glorified, as some are saying, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, guys, I'm giving you both sides. Some people say they're glorified, some people say they're history. You have your own opinion. They do too. But wouldn't it be wonderful, he said, Native American speaking, instead of just painting it red like they did or carving out certain words, answer it. Let's get one of our lauded artisans. And he mentioned who she was. I think her first name was Roxanne. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go back and rewatch that video and hopefully get some more links so that I can go back and study about that, because I think that is just something I have not heard. And what a fabulous idea is that, to, instead of tearing down things, retorting them, answering them, put another statue or another obelisk or another type of art that would say, well, this is our reality, this is our history, this is what we see as history, our history that we lived, our history that you may not learn. Instead of just always at each other's throat. And that's what was so wonderful about listening to these things, is that people can get into a wonderful discussion and not disrespect each other, not call each other names, derogatory names thrown left and right and right and left, and you don't know who to believe, instead of just taking another perspective, put the politicians on the back burner, and let's listen to real people who have no motive, not trying to get elected, not trying to, get you out to the polls, but instead wants you to learn through art, through performance art, through sculptures and Native American work and everything like that. I think it's just so fascinating. Or even in, like I said, if you're enlightened that way, I think in a way that starts to change your mood too, so that you're not always, oh, they're wrong, I'm right, we're wrong, they're right. I think we evolve so much more if we listen. And if we listen to ideas that are not my way, my way, my way, no other way but my way. These two, I mean, and the gentleman was totally taken aback by his answer. He could not, I wasn't even watching, I was just listening to it because it's also a podcast. You could tell in the tone of his voice, he did not expect the Native American gentleman to say we should not have torn or defaced that obelisk, which I believe is in the center of Santa Fe Plaza. I don't know anything about it, so I want to go learn about it. But he said, but if we have commissioned one of our great Native American contemporary artists of today to answer it, I think it's brilliant. Wouldn't that be fabulous? So anyway, it makes me want to travel to places like that and see things like that and learn more and more. And back to a blouse that I put on. The lady went to Machu Picchu. Everybody wants to go to Machu Picchu. I taught some Peruvian students who always tell me wonderful things from there, and they visit often. So very proud of their heritage and all of that. So I really love learning about that kind of stuff too, because I don't know it. I don't know it, and when you don't know it, you are set in your ways and you don't listen to others. You don't listen to others' ideas and perspectives. And I'm not saying you'll change your mind, but I'm saying we should listen. Once in a while, we should sit down and listen to an opposing view and see why we are so, at odds with each other, and what our remedies are. More so, we all know what the problems are, but let's look at some remedies and everyday people that see the world differently. Like he was saying, he always saw art so differently than he was very smart, and he went to where did he go? Dartmouth for masters and whatnot. And he said, but I just couldn't bring myself and to study mathematics to that. He had to see it his beauty, and he was able to make a career doing what he loves. How fabulous is that? And teaching other people through his art. Makes me want to go to a museum right now. How are you, Miss Kathleen and Kim Wynn and Cindy and Kathy Phillips? I'm so glad you guys are here. Hi, Mary Pelletier. So yeah, because I'm a total dunce when it comes to art. I know absolutely nothing about it. And there's so much of it and so many genres and so many reasons why people paint this kind of landscape and what they see in it. And he was talking about that too, how his art had evolved from, I forgot what he said he used to paint, but he's doing a lot of landscapes right now. So he's trying to convey the vision of a Native American, of the land, where it's free and it's ours and it's God-given and so forth. And all of this perspective through a landscape. Incredible. You just have to go watch it. The channel is Medicine Man Galleries, I believe. And yeah, he's just a wonderful, wonderful channel. And he has guests from everything from people who have written books about jewelry, hallmarks, and studying those hallmarks from Mexico and Tasco and all the greats from there, to, pottery, ancient Hopi pottery and things like that. So I love it. All right, let's see who else is in here, and then we'll go on to what else was on my list and see what you guys are talking about. Oh, you're welcome. It's a beautiful name. Yes, I love it. Cooking shows, absolutely. I love them. I really do. And I don't always, cook what they cook, but I want to see, like today, you know what I made for dinner, guys? Chicken strips. And I was watching a Mexican channel, a Mexican cooking channel, but she said, I think I can do a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And it looked just like the Chick-fil-A sandwich. So I watched her and I saw what she did and whatnot. And I did it, but I did it with chicken strips because I didn't have enough fillets. And Anna was crazy for it. She thought it was so good. Hey, Moonstone Mamas, how are you? Tina, I'm glad you're here. Sam, the cooking guy is one you like? Okay. There's a Stovetop Kisses is one I really enjoyed too. She's really good. And I usually start watching these again right about August, September to get ready for Thanksgiving. But lately it's just been like, oh, I was looking for something and then I fell in love with this YouTuber who does cooking and I watched, binged on her shows, even though I'll never make some of the stuff she was making, but oh my gosh, it looks so good. And she's super young. She's like 25, 30. No, I think she's 31. And I was telling one of my friends here, Dawn, that she cooks better than my grandmother. Not better, but she cooks like like your grandmother would cook, like those really old recipes that have been handed down and handed down. So, and that's another thing they were talking about on that show was how these perspectives on art and the appreciation of art was something that you hand down to your kids, that he had learned it from an aunt or his dad painted, he watched him paint, but his grandmother was the potter and famous in her own right. And he threw out all these names that I'll have to go back and research, but it's incredible. And I was thinking, what will we leave our kids? What do we leave our grandkids? Even if it's not a talent like art and painting and pottery, what can we leave them and what should we leave them with? I think we can still find wonderful things to leave them with, like how to behave, how to treat people, how to think about yourself. Hey, Miss Vanessa, how to always, not think that just because you make a mistake one of these days, or whether it's academically or in your personal life, that is the end of your being as a decent person. I know that's one thing my mother always says that I've admired her for. She's a very free thinker. And one time we were sitting around talking to one of my nieces, and she was pondering a relationship, and then we were saying, well, you really should get married, and maybe you should really think about getting married because you're this age or whatnot. And my mother was like, what's wrong with you? You guys should not tell her that she should get married. That is not for y'all to say. She should do what she wants to do, date as long as she wants to date whoever she wants to date for as long as she wants to date, and let her be free. It's probably because my mother married really young. So, and we were like, we didn't expect that from the grandmother, right? That was before we were grandmothers. But she was right. Why were we telling her how to live her life? You know how it is when you sit around the table sometimes. So many people were educated incorrectly, and this is a great idea. Absolutely. I think so too. I think that's a great idea. What he proposed. Yes, and to never stop being open to learn. Absolutely. Hi, Doug. How are you? Readbird. Oh gosh, I'm reading it now, Miss Mary. I'm reading it now. I haven't watched the movie. I know the movie is famous, but I'm reading it now. There's also a wonderful lecture series, I believe, out of Vanderbilt University on that particular book. So most definitely reading that one, and several books on Native American history. They're all on the top of my nightstand over there. They're all with paper. What do you call it? Bookmarks through all of them. And then my husband's reading one too, so he's got a different bookmark. We're like, oh, yeah, engrossed. Teach them to be happy in their skin. Absolutely, Miss Kathy. That's how we can teach them to be them, right? To be them. Most definitely. What? I made, even my mother said, that is the best dressing you've ever made. But I watched these cooking channels. Stovetop Cooking was one. What was the other one? Philly J, I think his name is. Philly Boy J or something like that. He is so good too. And I took some of his ideas about the dressing and somebody else's, and put in those chopped, what was it that he put? Gizzards, I don't know, chicken wings. I don't even remember. But it was an incredible dressing this last Thanksgiving. And the thing is, sometimes you're kind of just going by ear, and then you're like, what did I put in it? How did I do this? Why was it so good? I made once like a shrimp scampi with some pasta. It was so amazing. And I still haven't been able to duplicate it. And I had wine with it, and like a white wine, some kind of stuff I put in the sauce. It was just incredible. But just from watching these cooking shows, they throw wine in it. I will too. So yeah. Hey, Miss Vicky Porter, how are you? You have an air fryer and it makes an awesome Chick-fil-A. Does it really? Those are expensive. I've been wanting to get one. My daughter's been telling me you need to get one. Oh, we're going to make you hungry now? Joy in the little things. Exactly. The beauty that surrounds us in nature. Yes. Oh, I miss going to the beach so much. We went to the beach a couple of years ago in Corpus, which has a very nice beach over there. My grandkids were able to go. The little one was just a newborn. But that was so much fun. I mean, we were fighting with the tent, trying to keep it down. It was windy. We got sand all over ourselves, but it was incredible just to be able to wade in there, hold that little hand in your hand, and just look at that incredible nature. You're absolutely right, Miss Phillips. You're absolutely right. There's something so fabulous about going to the ocean or anywhere, but to me, it's just like, especially, it's just so humongous and so formidable and everything all in one, and the beauty of it. I used to love to fish too. Everyone needs a little wine these days. Wine does the body good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see what else we got up here. Woodworking videos. Oh, my husband loves to watch. That's why he likes to watch Sandy, because he likes to watch people work with their hands. Most definitely. Those are fun. I've been enjoying that too. And then there's that other one, that Durango Silver guy. He's so incredible. And he's got this really soothing voice. And if you ever really want to learn how to silversmith, boy, he tells you every single thing that he's doing. And it's just, such a teachable man. I mean, he's just such an incredible teacher, rather. He really is. And he's been making jewelry for a long, long time. But moreover, not everyone can teach. That's the thing. But not everyone is a teacher. Even some teachers are not teachers. And he is. And then he's got, the perfect lighting and the perfect camera setup and the perfect voice, and distinguishing Hopi from Zuni and all of this. But just the way he speaks about his craft, you just have to appreciate that. And that's the same thing with the cooking channels. I just find them so intriguing when you know that they're doing it from the heart. Because like this one that I'm really kind of hooked on these days, you can just see that she loves serving her husband a plate of food, her kids, even though sometimes the smaller ones like, no, I'll just take fries, please, or a frozen pizza. But you can tell she just loves doing it. And she talks about how it actually saved her life. She was very much struggling with emotional issues. And when she dedicated her life to really learning how to cook, because people used to make fun of her cooking, her mother-in-law would kind of like criticize her. She's now so much better than her mother-in-law's cooking. Let me see what else we got up here. Thank you guys again for being here. Be sure and hit that thumbs up. Another thing I put on the thing was lists about the list. Do you guys still keep bucket lists? Did you ever complete any? I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever kept one. I still have, goals that I want to do that I did, and more that I want to do. One of them is to learn more about art, more about history. But as far as traveling and that kind of thing, where I want to travel is to where this history took place, whether it be Mexico City. I've been to Mexico City. I've been to the top of the pyramids. That was an incredible, incredible, euphoric time for all of us as a family to go and see that, and things we had only seen in pictures. Peru, of course, I would love to do that one day. But any other exotic places? No, not really. Now I want to go see Santa Fe. Now I want to go see what they were talking about and the rich history of Santa Fe and how no other city um, in New Mexico has that and so forth. And of course, here in Texas, we've got our historical places and sites too that I hope are preserved and I hoped are not defaced. And I hope someone opens a museum to talk about the other side. Even though actually they did lose the Alamo, didn't they? But yeah, that's the kind of list I still do. Things that I want to do that way. I know Miss Vicky's going on a trip in her trailer. Will you be driving, Miss Vicky? You are, right? You have a bucket list, and one of my top ones I got to do. Good. You got to race in a dragster. How fabulous. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you did that. Oh, barbecued ribs. Oh, don't we love those? Yeah. You dream of getting your feet wet in the ocean. Sassy, have you never been to the ocean? We were talking about that the other day. In another chat I was listening to, that they found it incredible to hear that some people had never been to an ocean, seen the ocean. Is it, Miss Kathy? We should do that one day. I hope we all get to go traveling, whether it's 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away again very soon. Well, the fastest car I've ever been in was a Ferrari, and it was incredible. And I actually drove a really fast Mercedes, which scared me half to death. I've never been behind such a powerful car. I drove that for a week, and that Ferrari, Testarossa, was actually crashed by the gentleman's girlfriend a week later. Luckily, they were both in the car. They both survived, and he was telling me about it after it happened. And he says, we both cracked up laughing. And I was like, how could you do that? How could you, you totaled your Ferrari? He says, because we were okay. We looked at each other. We were both okay. She's the one who lost control of the car. She was driving. She insisted on wanting to drive that car, and she did. And they weren't drinking or anything. But, I guess they're powerful cars, and they crash. And I thought about that, and in a way, that's probably not the wrong thing to do, because you're alive, and that's what matters. The cars can be replaced. You see the ocean every day at work. Not sure which one, the one there. It's in San Francisco. San Francisco. We went to San Francisco when we were young. My sister and I went to visit her fiance. And it was beautiful back then. That was late 70s. It was beautiful, but we were just entranced with Malibu, with the drive around Malibu to San Francisco, because we were actually in San Diego, I think is where the base is or something. California is beautiful, but I know San Francisco now is, yeah, I know. I don't even want to see it. I have this romanticized still image of San Francisco and, the pier and all of the wonderfulness of that. And that's really a shame. I hope things change there. Yes, absolutely. And that's one thing I would like to do again. I would like to go back to California and see the beautiful ocean of Malibu and whatever it is that's left. Whatever beauty is left of that, and the giant redwood trees, of course. I want to go and see that. That's one thing I do want to do. And I hope to do it. And I hope another thing I was going to bring up was, do we still have the capacity when we're past a certain age to change and to enlighten ourselves? Or do we just become old and grumpy? Because I tended to agree with people who say, you get to 60 and you're like, WTF, like, Nobody cares. I don't care. You don't care. I'm going to tell you don't care. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. I have to rein myself back in, reel myself back in many, many times. Because yeah, you do get to a point like, yeah, I'm going to wear these big hoops. I don't care who likes them. I don't care what you say. I don't care, if my kids tell me, what are you wearing, or any of that, or if somebody tells me something. Sometimes I want to just, but thank goodness my common sense kicks in, and I do try to rein myself in, because it's a dangerous world out there. We're absolutely right about that. But yeah, I think we do have to stop ourselves from being old and grumpy. But sometimes I think, I remember hearing my professor say in a psychology class that our personalities are set by 5-6 years old, basically. And that if we are bitter, rancorous type of people at 10, 15, even 25, 30, we're going to actually just be more rancorous and more petty as we age, that we don't age like fine wine. What do you guys think about that? Yes, manners matter. Absolutely. Absolutely. When it comes to fashion, when you grow, you can do. That's what I'm saying, Miss Mary. One time I had on this hat, and it was a beautiful orange hat. My son's alum. He's an alum from the University of Texas. So I had gone to visit him for something. It was winter, and I knitted myself a huge, like a sloppy beret and a hat, and I loved it. I made it myself. I loved it. I was wearing it, and he turns at me and says, "What are you wearing?" I was like, the hat I knitted for 15 days straight, and so I could have it and wear it to date, and you're not going to tell me what to wear. And I left it on. You're old and cranky too. But, he can say what he wants, right? I don't care. I'm going to wear what I want. I don't care. And I still have that wonderful hat, and it's still beautiful, and I still love it. It's a beautiful beret in burnt orange, color of my amber necklace. Yes, it was beautiful. It is. And I don't think I've worn it since, because every time I put it on, I think about him. But I left it on that night. I left it on that night for the game. Exactly. Exactly. Who cares? You used to be super nice. And then you got grumpy or mean. Well, I think we all have our mean streaks. We just have to reel them in, honestly. We really do. I don't know, especially these days, you really just have to think about what you really want to say when somebody cuts in front of you, or when somebody says something, or, instead of greeting you when you walk in. Whatever happened to the days, okay, forget COVID-19, but whatever happened to the days when long before this, and you walk into a restaurant or a store and people would greet you and say hello, or people would hand you your change and say thank you. They don't do that anymore. Many, I shouldn't generalize, but many don't do that anymore. They look up at you like, yeah. Oh, okay. You want that blouse? Yeah, that's whatever happened to that. It just doesn't exist anymore. So when I get confronted with things like that, or when I'm faced with things like that, believe me, and I have, unfortunately, I have said, you're welcome, or something, just to, bring them back down to earth. But in reality, what does it do? It just makes you feel worse, because I think you kind of perpetuate your feelings. Kathy tells Dawn, blame it on the change. Doesn't matter if it's change in your hormones, or the change in the weather, or the change in attitudes. Yeah, absolutely. So sad, no more good customer service. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Speaking of customer service, I was so happy to finally get Amazon to answer the phone. When all of this went down, guys, for the past 2 months, Amazon has not answered the phone, and I buy everything on Amazon. And if it's not right, I call and I say, what's going on? Why can't I, whatever. And they would answer, and they'd be so nice, and they would fix things. And all of a sudden we had to work on our own. It was so hard. So I had to return this thing that I bought, this giant life-size, yes, I said it, life-size unicorn. A life-size unicorn sprinkler, because my grandson was going to make me smile while he splashed around with it, right? So I got it. It had a big hole in it. We couldn't even inflate it. It's a total disaster. Then I tried to print the label, and then it said it gives you like three choices: UPS, FedEx, or at the door. But then when I clicked at the door, it actually printed a label which was from UPS. But then when I went to Walgreens, that's not UPS, that's actually FedEx. So I was literally almost in tears. Do you guys do that too? Like when you get angry, you almost want to cry? I do that. It's so annoying. I hate when I do that, but I do. I literally, like, I'm on the verge of crying because I'm so frustrated with not being able to do something. So I couldn't call them. Finally, for these other times, I couldn't call. Finally, I said, you know what? I'm just going to try again. They answered the phone. It was so fabulous. She says, ma'am, don't worry about it. Just put it outside of your door. Don't even put anything on it. We're going to get a FedEx guy to go pick it up for you. Talk about real world problems, or what do you call it? First world problems. Honestly, but I was ecstatic. I was so happy. That Amazon guy came, he picked up those packages. I got my money back. It was like a $60 unicorn, life-size unicorn sprinkler, guys. Beautiful. Beautiful. I was the happiest woman on earth. Walmart canceled too many items that were paid for. Where are the refunds? Oh, really? Oh, I hate Walmart. I just can't stand Walmart. I don't know why. I can't stand it because it's too big. Even before all of this was going on, it's too big for me. I prefer smaller stores. I don't like the trouble of having to find parking and then go buy just a few things. And then when I really want to get, maybe orange juice, but I got to go on the other side. Oh my God, you almost want to ride a bike over there. I hate that. So, and the returns, oh my goodness, they have one person handling all the returns at Walmart when you used to go in person. Never, ever again did I buy at Walmart. I just don't do it at all. Oh, I just can't stand it. And then I used to go for only one reason, because my printer, my Stone Age printer, only handled a certain ink, and only they would sell it. And even on the back, they're monopolists or whatever. On the back of the printer ink, it would say, if you find this anywhere else but Walmart, please dial this number for a 10% discount, or I don't know what. But definitely high anxiety at Walmart. I know, Miss Kathleen, it's awful. So that's the only reason I would go. And then finally I got another printer, so I no longer have to go there, and I can get it on Amazon. Say what you will about Amazon, but oh my gosh. It has kept me sane. It has kept me sane. Most definitely. Have you already said where you bought your glasses? Michelle at Mermaid Cove Plants and Treasure. Miss Michelle, you got to let me know. Do you have a channel about plants? Because I'm going to check it out. I love that name. I love mermaids. I love plants. And the glasses are from Zenny. A few years ago, I got a coupon code and a free pair of glasses. Actually, I got sunglasses because they were going to charge me too much to do them as bifocal. But I took advantage anyway and got some free glasses, and I did a video for them. And these are from Zenny. And what is that other one? Oh, I can't. Firmo. Firmo is another one that have fabulous selections, especially if you're not old like me and don't need bifocals. You can get them for like $20. They're amazing. Hey, Julie, how are you? You got so frustrated today at the doctor's office. 2 more ultrasounds, 2 more scans, and another deep artery blood pull for more tests to try to find out what's wrong with me. I'm so done with this. Oh, Miss Julie, I'm so sorry. I hope it gets better for you. I hope you get all those appointments and tests and all that behind you soon. Thank you for taking care of the trollish. The trollish patrol is here. Thank you. Firmo is super cheap. Yeah, I like Firmo a lot. And the thing is, though, you fall in love with frames and then you go back and they don't have them. Like right now, I also have these aviator ones that I love. They look so Gloria Steinem, but I just love them. And I put them down somewhere and one of the lenses popped out. And now I can't find it. And it's so frustrating. But they will sell you just the lenses. So if you happen to break the frames, they'll sell you another frame. Or if you break the lens, they'll sell you another lens and you just pop it in there yourself. It's pretty cool. I love those places. They really are nice. She does. Thank you, Miss Dawn. All right. Well, I'll have to check her out. Is it about plants or jewelry? We all incorporate jewelry in there somewhere. So anyway, yeah, I guess And my professor was right in a way. I do know a lot of people who just got worse. They were bitter and had that little proverbial chip on their shoulder. For whatever reason, they think that if they're not driving the same car that he's driving, they were dealt the wrong deck of cards and constantly looking at what I don't have. And those people that I know, they've stayed the same. Unfortunately, they really have. Then again, I've met many people who are constantly looking to enlighten themselves and their way of thinking, and are not stereotypical this or stereotypical that. What am I popping around? They just think for themselves. Free thinkers. What a wonderful concept. Free thinkers. I know I'm that way. Another thing that I was watching in those videos was, a lot of wonderful songs. Again, the culture and songs that make you cry, make you think, make you kind of solidify your religion if you happen to have it, or if you don't. If you have a spiritualness about you, then that's great too. But I just can't stand to watch when someone brings up the subject that someone else has to come in and say, well, no, because my church says this and my church wants it this way. And they have absolutely no room to love everyone, just for the sake of humanity and love. And it's there. And why not? What are they what are they taking away from you if they happen to tell you that they believe in lighting a candle? They believe that there's an avenue for their spirituality that may not be yours, but why can't you respect that? Why do you have to always come back to one-upping someone, whether it is that way, in spirituality or not? I think if you have to put someone down for their spirituality, yours may be waning in some way. I honestly believe that, because I really feel like when people have to preach to you their way of thinking, they're almost preaching to themselves. And I always, again, going back to being able to discuss something without yelling at each other like they do on the media, like they love to throw that red meat out there so we can watch, which I no longer watch. But watch those old reels here on YouTube of people like an old conservative like Buckley debating a liberal like Vidal, or and that can get heavy too. But then there's others like talking to Woody Allen about atheism and how they could talk to each other like humans and still walk away with respect and love for one another. And you could see it. You could see it in their body language. You could see it in their verbiage, that the respect was still there. Nowadays, it's like once you say something that you don't believe in, it's just they go for blood. They go for blood, and you don't listen anymore. Once someone calls you a name or yells at you, or raises their voice at you, or points their finger at you, you are no longer going to listen. Same thing like when you try to, when we raised our kids, you knew that if you raised your voice, your kid was not going to listen to you. If you punished him for more than a week, grounded him for more than a week, he was going to go ahead and do what he wanted to do anyway, because he was already grounded for a month. Who cares, 99% plants. Oh, cool. Michelle. Oh, I love that. And my daughter and I are so into plants right now. I always have been, but I tend to neglect them when it gets so hot. But we really want to do a lot more indoor plants and things like that. And she's been turning me on to a lot of her influencers that she watches here on YouTube. Many who've started with, the makeup, but then they do other things like home decor and cooking and the plants and all of that. So I love that. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think I was telling you guys about my neighbor who was a certified teacher, but when she moved to Texas, she didn't want to teach. She was just doing sub work, and then she worked at a nursery, and she loved working with plants. It was her respite from her life, her high pressure life to begin with. You worked at Kmart, and 83% of employees were like 90% kids from high school. So we had well, good. That's awesome. That is awesome. We don't have to listen at our age, called reverse childhood. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I think we do. I think we can learn from each other. There's a wonderful thing that when women and men of different ages can learn from each other, talk to each other, and see each other's perspective. Again, it's your life, your perspective. You got to just see it, Take a minute to just understand. They're not going to understand everything the way you understand it or perceive it the way you understand it, but take just a minute to look at their lives. Tolerance is the key word. Absolutely. Hey, Miss Jude, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Oh, we honestly, I only dislike Walmart because it's too big and they don't open enough cash registers, especially for returns. The blue light specials at Kmart. I tell you what I remember was the popcorn. Gosh, I miss the popcorn. I miss the popcorn at Kmart, and I don't even, well, especially now with COVID, but I miss the Target popcorn too. Oh, that was so good. I never really liked the Walmart popcorn. It was just too, I don't know, maybe it was just mine, but it was like it wasn't clean around there. I was never anxious to try their popcorn. And another thing I remember, now that you talked about shopping and food, but before we leave, do you guys remember the Sears that had the food candy? The little, like the little candy bar, and you could get, I forget what they're called, but I think you can still get them at Hobby Lobby in a bag. They're like, is it toffee? I don't know what the flavor is, or a hazelnut, but they're like coated in some kind of brown sugary hard thing, and then you bite into it. My mother used to love those, and I loved them too because she loved them and she bought them for us. That was a lot of fun. Hey, Miss Liz. I remember that about Sears. I think that's the only reason my mother went in there, because she didn't like the clothes there. Or she must have gone in there to buy other things. But yeah, I remember that candy bar. It wasn't taffy though. It was like a little nugget, and it had like a nut, I think a hazelnut in it, but it had like a hard candy around it. It was so, so good. You had a Planter shop? Oh my God. Now I'm craving Chicago popcorn. Who lives in Chicago? I just go to the airport. And the thing is, my two airports, one of them has, well, if you land in O'Hare, you get that other, not the Nuts and Clark, but the other one, I forget. And then if you land at O'Hare, it's another one. Okay. What's the one? What's the other airport in Chicago? There's O'Hare and Midway. Midway has the Nuts and Clark, and then the O'Hare has the other one, and they're both so darn good. Now I'm craving that. Almond Roca, is that Almond Roca? I didn't know that's what Almond Roca was. I don't remember what they called it at Sears. Jewelry Nurse makes Almond Roca, but I never had it. She's always talking about it though. So I don't really know what Almond Roca is. These are more like, I forget what they're called, but I know that Hobby Lobby sells them in their bags. They have, is See's Candy? Oh, don't even talk about See's Candy. I still have a little chocolate. You know what we did the other day? It's crazy. We're so spoiled. But I needed something else. It wasn't just the chocolate. But I got on Amazon, and not on the ice cream kick this week. This last 2 weeks, we haven't done ice cream. But my husband occasionally remembers that I love Hershey's with almonds. So we had a few of those in the bar area, like the island. And then I thought, oh, is there any more of that? And he's like, no, we're out. I was like, I'm going to get on Amazon and order some. And they got here at midnight. I didn't eat them at midnight, but they got here at midnight. Isn't that crazy? The groceries can get here like almost any time. And I think I ordered $35 of other things that I needed. So then I got on there and ordered like tomato sauce, because I didn't want to pay $5 for delivery. So I ordered other things that I needed, pantry staples. And I got the big giant bars. They're like this big. Yes. So I've been able to divide them like into 5 days just to get me that, they say you should really not even have more than 3 bites of anything sweet, that should be enough to satiate that demon called the sweet tooth. So that's what we did. And I think I still have a little bit left. So I'm probably going to go have some. We're going to cut it. We've been here an hour already. I hope you enjoyed the heart to heart, guys, just talking about whatever was on my mind this time and yours. And I sure enjoyed it. It was a great time together. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go watch some more videos. I'm sure someone else is putting out some content. I'm going to go look for the mermaid here. I'm going to hopefully be able to highlight her channel and go find her channel and see what she's about. And you guys shared some new cooking videos too, some new cooking channels. And any of you guys, if you want to throw your link down there for your channel as well, feel free to do so as we sign off. Hit that thumbs up. There is actually, guys, a subscribe button. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell, but make sure you activate the bell for all videos so you'll never miss a live one like this one is live. And I hope it came in clear. It's been very choppy lately. Or for my next excursion, hopefully it'll be a ride along. I haven't done one of those in a while. And I'm going to do some more styling videos for jewelry. I wanted to do one on earrings and brooches, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys very soon. Thank you again, guys. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Have a wonderful night. Is tomorrow Friday already? Awesome. Have a wonderful weekend. I smell it already.